crafty friends, it's Wens here from Crafty Kiwi Mama. I had some exciting things arrive in the mail just recently from the brand new release at Whimsy Stamps. The first one here is the Boneyard die set, which is amazing and much bigger than I thought it was going to be. We've got a really good range of sizes of skull in this, a background die that you can put them on layered up over, and a really cool selection of bone shapes. So very excited to get to use that very soon. And then this, which I think is going to look amazing when it's die cut, Trick or Treat as a word with a cool, very droopy, sort of creepy looking shadow die for it, and 3 really cool bats, quite different to anything we've got in our bat selection currently, so that's really exciting. And the next thing that I had arrive was this set of ticket dies. This is the ticket window die set, Terrific Tickets it's called, Terrific Tickets window die set. So this cuts out sort of window shape, and you can use the frame to overlay on an A2 size card. It fits perfectly for an A2 size card. And then there's this one, which is the Terrific Tickets die, which has sort of some stitching detailing on it. And in the middle of each of these sections, an area that's like an old ticket machine where you could tear the ticket apart. So you can use it as a whole piece for an A2 size card, or you can cut the components apart and have it just look like individual tickets. Such a cool set, and unlike anything I've seen out there on the market, and just a really, really fun concept and idea for a ticket themed base piece. And I got pretty excited when I found this in my parcel and had a go at creating with it very quickly. And the resulting piece is this, which is my Abby Normal, which is this stamp set here, combined with some stencils that belong with that ticket set as well. They come separately, but they coordinate together incredibly well. So I've created a little card that says, "Relentless Hump Day. Ugh. People make brain hurt." And this is the little Frankenstein character in the middle with his little bolts on the side of his neck. And I've coloured him up to look like a bit of a dapper dude, to be honest. I think he looks like a, man about town or Frank about town. And then just the look on the stenciled characters' faces is just like day after day after day, relentless. I'm sure we all feel like that sometimes when Wednesday rolls around. It's like the hump day. Will it ever end? So that is my piece that I've created, and I absolutely love it. Frank in the middle here was coloured with Copic markers, and then these 2 dudes on the outside, you can see my Distress Oxide inks. I've got here Forest Moss, Peeled Paint, and Shabby Shutters were what I used to do the stenciling part of it. And then the blacks of the eyes I've done with my favourite VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink, because it's a lovely dark rich black ink. But of course Frank won't have been stamped in VersaFine ink because it's not Copic friendly. He's been stamped with Memento Tuxedo Black. And then I'll show you the stamp set that he comes from, which is this one here. It's called Abby Normal, play on abnormal. And all these sentiments that come in it, you can see the one I've used here: ugh, people make brain hurt, relentless hump day, Abby someone, hump, what hump? Werewolf, werewolf, Abby normal, brain, and then some cool sort of secondary stamps. Obviously this one, the relentless hump day, would have been perfect to use on this little character with the actual hump on his back. Happy Halloween, Trick Bad, Candy Good, Smell Feet. And then I just think that little character, that Frankenstein face, may just be the most endearing Frankenstein character I've ever seen. Absolutely love it, and had to colour it up and play with it immediately. So that is where this particular combination of characters has come from. The layering die set, stencil set, comes as three stencils, and although I've only shown 2 of the sections that you can use from the stencil itself, which has created the Frank character, I have in fact got lots and lots of options on this set. This, as you can see, is the layering levels. It starts off with this part which obscures the eyes so they remain white while you put down your base colour. And then you add on the layer which is obviously the hair, the eyebrows, the details of the nose and the mouth. And then the last one is the eyes themselves, which, as I said, I did in black. But this also comes with these really cool other little characters. I'm just trying to see if it says on it which one is layer 1. Yeah. So I don't know if you'll be able to read it on the video, but it does actually say on there layer 1 of 3, layer 2 of 3, and layer 3 of 3. So when you're working with it, and it would take nothing to do a Tim Holtz trick and run a little bit of colour over that so it's more easily readable. But these obviously work together in the 3 layers. This one here is the beginning of some words. So this word is the beginning of eek, which means that you can do the word, because it's not all in one layer, you can do them in different colours. And some of my teamies, if you have a look at what's on the Whimsy Stamps website already, with the new release, you'll see that they've done them in different colours, and this is how it's achievable. So this word says eek, and then fright is a combination of these 3. So you've got the F-R-I-G-H-T in 3 layers, and then chills is the last one, which you can see here, the C, the H, the I, the L, and the S. And then it's lots and lots of little thoughtful companion stamps. There is this is the beginning of a really fun shaped, where am I at? Layer 1 is this one. So that's the beginning of a pumpkin layer in the middle there. That's the detail of the pumpkin layer, and then the face of the pumpkin. We've got some little bats that layer up with wings here, and the little skeleton parts of the wings there, or bones of the wings. And then obviously that layer, that particular one only needed 2. But then there's lots of other little cute tiny sections that fill the smaller parts of the ticket. So we've got the beginnings of a little set of candy corns here. So the base, the middle, and the top of the candy corn. We've got a little broom, which is just a standalone piece, and a little witch's hat and a moon. Then some stars, some dots, and some bigger dots, so you could choose whichever you liked of those to coordinate. So there are lots of possibilities just within this one first stamp set, stencil layering set. So a really, really fun companion to both of these die sets. And the dies are the same size. Okay, so this one doesn't cut a bigger outline. It's exactly the same. It's meant to work as something that you can put on as a frame on top. It stands alone. It's its own individual piece. If you prefer it without the stitching, this is a great option. If you prefer it with stitching, this is a great option. But they can work together because this little section is ever so slightly smaller than this section here, which means you can cut the frame, for example, out of this and then inlay, for instance, an ink blended or die cut piece from these slightly smaller versions of that. You can, if I hold them together, you can get an idea of it just being that little bit smaller than the center part of this frame, but the actual frame itself is the identical size. And this is a really fun one to use as like an overlay if you wanted it to look like it had, I'm talking about the whole thing being a frame, but if you wanted this to actually behave as a frame that frames the contents of this piece, for example, that's absolutely doable. And they can work together and can, as companion pieces really nicely. You can cut out sections and layer them over each other, etc. So a really, really cool, fun combination. And yeah, that whole need to have it all, what is it? Full set syndrome? I absolutely have full set syndrome with these ticket dies. I could only get the frames initially and the stencils, but I went back to buy the stamp set as well. So that's still on its way to me and will arrive in a little while, and I will be extremely happy when that arrives so I can have some fun with that, because the ticket stamp set is a really cool one too, and obviously the companion set to this and works really well with it. There's also another set that came in the release. It was released, I don't think this was released today, I think it was released on the 1st. This is called the Bitty Borders, Halloween Bitty Borders stamp set. And this is perfectly sized. I'll actually pull this out so you can see it laid over it. But perfectly sized to actually be sort of little characters within these frames. So really just a really magical combination of sets. We've got jack-o'-lanterns down here. We've got skulls, which would work so superbly with the Boneyard set. here. You can imagine doing something like that and maybe having some of the 2 or 3 of the smaller ones piled up in a little frame down there. So just so many possibilities with this stamp set. That just work in companion with lots of other things. You've got a little graveyard scene, some bats, some individual little ghosts, a little tiny tree, and really fun, these little small elements, which you don't find a lot of in stamp sets, but can be really fun for adding little extras within a scene. Little pumpkin and trees, sort of tree line border die. It is a border die set, but when we say border die, hey, that kind of takes the cake for me as the central iconic piece right in the middle there. So, there's lots that we can build up. I could imagine this one used as part of like a zombie themed set with the tickets. Just lots and lots of possibilities. And as I say, I've created my initial piece with this set. I have so many ideas in my head, and there will be more to follow with this set, I promise. And I hope that you've enjoyed just seeing a few of those new release items from today. I will give you a little bit of additional information regarding our current sponsor. Cardstock Warehouse have given us some amazing, amazing papers to use during September and October. They've sent them to our Halloweeners design team. And I did use 2 of the papers for this design. So you can see the envelope back here is one of their black envelopes that they've sent, which has the most beautiful sheen on it. They're not a matte envelope. They are the most beautiful sort of metallic shot through it. So that's from that. This is actually not an envelope, though I stacked it to look as if it might be. This is actually a green card base, which is what I used for the base of this. So it's the second half of that paper that I've cut into. It's the most just stunning paper to hold on to and use. This is a matte design paper, a matte finish paper, I should say, in the most lovely, there is a name for this, I'm trying to think, I think it's called mid-green. But when I saw these particular papers, I went, oh, perfect for like a zombie apocalypse kind of, make or something like that. And then, of course, Frank came along to my wildest dreams, and I just thought he was absolutely perfect matched with that paper. So that's what I've done. I've paired him with that particular paper to be the base. The layer behind matches the black envelope and is the beautiful, beautiful sparkling black cardstock. So this is the second half of that, or actually the quarter of that panel. I've got the larger bit here. So I only needed a tiny bit of that, but you can see on that the most beautiful sheen to the cardstock. It's just gorgeous. It's very thick and has just a lovely substantial weight and texture to it. It's not like a flat, I can't describe it really. It's metallic. It feels metallic under your fingers. In the sense that there's a very slight texture to the cardstock itself, but it's not rough, it's smooth, but it's just beautiful, very substantial. Some more of the set that we've been given is this stunning paper, and I'll have to link below in the description the actual names of the paper and a link to them in the Cardstock Warehouse store, because I can't recall off the top of my head, but I'm going to call that eggplant or aubergine because that is a stunner. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a very, very deep purple, which I love the idea of working with for Halloween. That's the second page of the green one that I've used, which I'm pretty sure was called mid-green. Then we've got these most beautiful heavyweight vellums, and I just read a comment from one of my teamies who's created with this and said that it takes heat embossing really well. So it's hard to find a vellum that actually does stand up to heat embossing well, and apparently this vellum does. So I'll have my own turn at embossing with this and let you know how I get on, but by all accounts, one of my teamies says it's the business. So love that. We've also got this absolutely beautiful opalescent. It's off-white. It's not white. I would call that a pearl white finish on this cardstock. Really excited to work with this. I've got a very specific make in mind for it. And the reason my hands are red is because I've been colouring rock candy glitter today, which is to do with that make that I was just referencing and why my brain went on a tangent just then. The next one we've got is a really beautiful rust orange. So really fantastic for pumpkins and all those autumnal leaves and things like that. Again, really gorgeous weight, very slight texture to it, not a rough texture at all. But it's just, this is substantial paper. I would say if you're wanting weights, that's probably easily £100. I'd be surprised if it's lighter than that. It's possibly 110, but I'd say more likely £100, which would be equivalent to about, I think, 220 GSM, possibly 240 GSM. And then the last one is this amazing acid green. I haven't given the correct names for these, so forgive me for that. I will link them below with the correct names. But this is amazing. And a couple of my teamies have already started creating with some of these papers. Mine arrived a little bit later because I live in New Zealand and it takes a little bit longer for post to reach here. But I'm so excited now that it's arrived to start getting to work with it. And huge shout out and thank you to Cardstock Warehouse, who are our sponsor for September and October. So you will see lots of creations from the team working with these divine papers. And the happy news is that one lucky person at the end of our Halloween term, so at the end of October, will be winning a prize from Cardstock Warehouse, which can include some of these papers if you so choose. I think they're going to do the winner's prize pack as a voucher rather than designated papers, so you get to choose what you enjoy working with. But I promise you, the range is amazing. They are beautiful quality. They are archival safe papers. They've got all the correct treatment for properly working within the paper craft industry so that, they don't yellow and age badly. They will hold up to our way of working with them. Amazing, amazing paper. So very excited to share that with you. And a huge thank you to Cardstock Warehouse. And again, just finishing on my cute little Abby Normal with his extra days side by side. It's meant to be him, but on those in-between days, we've reached hump day and it's all a little bit much for poor. Oh, actually, it's Wednesday today, which is hump day. Hilarious. It's Wednesday in New Zealand. And he's just looking like a man about town, trying to make his way through the week and just survive it. And you know what? I resonate with some weeks. So, I get you, Frank. And anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for coming and having a look at this little extra look at the brand new release from Whimsy Stamps. This is only a little bit of this release. We have one more release in September, which will be, I believe, our last designated Halloween release for this year. But I promise you it is incredible. There's more in this release on the 10th that I don't have in my possession here, but we'll be getting very soon. So I'll share those when they arrive. And in the meantime, I just wish you lots of fun with your Halloween crafting. Thank you for coming to visit today and have a beautiful day.